Hello YouTube and welcome to the channel. This is Miguel with season 1 of how to combine the DC deck building sets. And this is our first deck profile for the season. In this episode, we'll be covering the DC deck building game base set. I'll be focusing on 3 key ideas for building a main deck: theme, availability, and consistency. A theme provides an idea of how to put cards together from various sets. Do you want to focus on certain teams like the Justice League or Teen Titans? Do you want to focus on one character and their connections like Batman and his Rogues Gallery? Availability is what we have in hand. What sets do you have access to? How many copies of those sets do you have? Do you need something to fulfill your theme? Consistency in terms of building a main deck focuses on logic and fairness. This means having multiples of cards and giving players access to buy cards of any cost ensures that everyone has a good time playing the game. The oversized characters for this set include Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Cyborg, Aquaman, The Flash, and promo Martian Manhunter. The supervillain stack will include Ra's al Ghul, Black Manta, Deathstroke, Captain Cold, the Joker, Lex Luthor, Atrocitus, Sinestro, Darkseid, Brainiac, Parallax, and the Anti-Monitor. For the theme of the main deck, we're going to focus on the Justice League from the New 52 comics. For availability, we're pulling from the original set and Heroes Unite. For consistency, the main deck will be at 110 cards with 30 heroes, villains, equipment, and 15 superpowers with 5 locations. And now the deck profile. For heroes at cost 2, we have doubles of Catwoman and Kid Flash. Catwoman is a low cost +2 power that can be picked up early in the game when you cannot afford to buy a kick. She can also be played with Dark Knight to activate his secondary effect of putting a card you buy or gain this turn into your hand. Kid Flash provides generic draw support, making him a strong buy in almost any deck. At cost 3, we have doubles of Mira, High Tech Hero, and Robin. Mira works best alongside draw and recovery options, increasing to +4 power if your discard pile is empty. High Tech Hero supports both superpower and or equipment builds by increasing to +3 power if either type is played. Robin supports equipment builds by recovering an equipment from your discard pile to replay. At cost 4, we have doubles of Supergirl, Swamp Thing, Zatanna Zatara, and Sonic Siren. Supergirl is a great card throughout the game because she can gain a kick from its stack without using the power generated for the turn, letting you buy other cards. Swamp Thing can help you catch up or take the lead because he can increase to +5 power if you control a location. Zatanna Zatara optimizes your deck because she can put cards back into your deck instead of having them stay in the discard pile, giving players repeated access to key cards throughout the game. Sonic Siren refreshes the lineup, helping to cycle out undesirable cards. At cost 5, we have single copies of The Dark Knight, Emerald Knight, The Fastest Man Alive, King of Atlantis, with doubles of Green Arrow and Superboy. Dark Knight is a great card throughout the game because he can gain equipment without using the power generated for the turn, letting you buy other cards. He can also be played with Catwoman to activate his secondary effect of putting a card you buy or gain this turn into your hand. Emerald Knight extends your turns by letting you play a non-villain or location from the lineup, though you can't buy it afterward. The Fastest Man Alive is a standard draw 2 cards with no drawbacks. King of Atlantis helps improve deck consistency by removing unwanted cards from your discard pile before they cycle back into your deck. Green Arrow supports players with a high hero count in the endgame, serving 5 VPs total. Superboy supports superpower builds by recovering a superpower from your discard pile to replay. At cost 6, we have single copies of Blue Beetle and John Jones. Blue Beetle is a great reveal to defend card because it can defend against multiple attacks that have been thrown against you in one turn. John Jones allows the player to use supervillain effects earlier without triggering their first appearance attack. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Princess Diana of Themyscira. Princess Diana of Themyscira is a great card throughout the game because she can gain villains without using the power generated for the turn, letting you buy other cards. At cost 8, we have a single copy of Mana Steel. Mana Steel can help you catch up or take the lead because he can recover every single superpower from your discard pile, especially in heavy superpower builds. For villains, at cost 2, we have doubles of Cheetah, Two-Face, and Ocean Master. Cheetah is a great card throughout the game because she can gain cards with cost 4 or lower without using the power generated for the turn, letting you buy other cards. Two-Face is another low-cost draw card that can work best in a deck filled with even-cost cards to consistently draw a card. Ocean Master supports villain builds by helping you get rid of undesirable cards. At cost 3, we have doubles of the Riddler, the Penguin, and Mr. Zaz. The Riddler can help you gain cards from the top of the main deck at the cost of +3 power per card. The Penguin can cycle through your deck quickly by drawing 2 and then discarding 2 to maximize your hand. Mr. Zaz can disrupt opponents while filling their decks with weaknesses, making him a strong source of early game pressure. At cost 4, we have doubles of Bane, Clayface, Killer Croc, and Parasite. Bane can add pressure to opponents by decreasing their hand size by 1 with his attack. Clayface can copy effects of cards you have played alongside him as a way to maximize your turn. Killer Croc supports villain builds by providing +3 power generation. Parasite can depower foes with his attack, exchanging a card with cost 3 or greater with a punch card from their discard pile. At cost 5, we have doubles of Gorilla Grodd and Scarecrow. Gorilla Grodd provides generic support with +3 power, making him a strong buy in almost any deck. Scarecrow is a standard attack card that can dish out weaknesses to each foe in order to clog their decks with undesirable cards. At cost 6, we have doubles of Doomsday and Solomon Grundy. Doomsday provides generic support with +4 power, making him a strong buy in almost any deck. Solomon Grundy can help you catch up or take the lead because he sets up your next play by putting himself on top of your deck to optimize your next draw or turn. At cost 7, we have single copies of Bizarro and Lobo. Bizarro supports players with a weakness-heavy deck, serving as an endgame card to turn their negative VPs into positive VPs when counting victory points. Lobo is a standard destroy card that can thin out your deck out of 2 undesirable cards. For equipment, at cost 2, we have doubles of Batmobile, Lasso of Truth, and Batarang. Batmobile can mulligan through your deck quickly to filter out unwanted hands. Lasso of Truth is a standard low-cost defense that can be bought in the early game as well. Batarang is a low-cost +2 power that can be picked up early when you cannot afford a kick. At cost 3, we have doubles of Helmet of Fate with triple copies of Power Ring and Aquaman's Trident with 4 copies of Nth Metal. Helmet of Fate can mulligan undesirable cards when defending, making you draw a card for each one discarded minus itself. Power Ring provides generic support with +3 power, especially in the mid to late game where you have less starters in your deck. Aquaman's Trident can help you catch up or take the lead because it sets up your next play by putting a card you bought or gained on top of your deck to optimize your next draw or turn. Nth Metal scouts the top card of your deck with the option to destroy it. At cost 4, we have triple copies of the Cape and Cowl and Green Arrow's Bow. The Cape and Cowl is a standard defense card that can refill your hand by 2 when you avoid an attack. Green Arrow's Bow reduces the cost of supervillains by 2 for the turn without using the power generated for the turn, letting you buy other cards. At cost 5, we have doubles of the Bat Signal and Utility Belt. The Bat Signal supports hero builds by recovering a hero from your discard pile to replay. Utility Belt supports players with a high equipment count in the endgame, serving as 5 VPs total. At cost 6, we have doubles of Science Cell. Science Cell supports players with a high villain count in the endgame, serving as an additional VP for each different villain and supervillain in your deck. For superpowers, at cost 3, we have doubles of Super Speed, Power of the Green, with triple copies of X-Ray Vision. Super Speed is the standard defense card that can draw a card and draw 2 cards when defending. Power of the Green is here to support locations by putting them into play and gaining power for controlling them. X-Ray Vision gives players access to the top of each foe's deck in order to play a non-location card from any deck. At cost 4, we have triple copies of Bulletproof. Bulletproof is a standard defense card that can draw a card and give the option to destroy a card from your discard pile when defending. At cost 6, we have triple copies of Heat Vision. Heat Vision is a standard destroy card that can thin out your deck out of undesirable cards to not draw into them throughout the game. At cost 7, we have doubles of Super Strength. Super Strength provides generic support with +5 power, making him a strong buy in almost any deck. For locations, at cost 5, we have the Watchtower, Arkham Asylum, the Batcave, Fortress of Solitude, and the Titan's Tower. The Watchtower, Arkham Asylum, the Batcave, and Fortress of Solitude are draw engines for their respective card type they're asking for: hero, villain, equipment, or superpower. Titan's Tower is a draw engine for decks with heavy concentration of cost 2 or 3 cards. In closing, that's one way to combine the DC deck building sets. Remember, there's no single correct way to build your deck. These videos are here to inspire ideas and start conversations. What would you change? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all the YouTube things. I'll see you on the next one.